Good morning. Welcome back into Wake Up America. I'm Rob Finnerty alongside Rachel Roller. Joe Biden's self-made crisis at the southern border continues to get worse despite what the administration says about the situation. This as thousands of illegal immigrants are still living in absolutely abhorrent conditions under the Del Rio International Bridge in Texas.
So joining us now live from Del Rio is retired Texas Department of Public Safety Captain Jason Jones. Jason, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning to you. It's good to be with you this morning.
Jason, great to have you back on. I'm noticing the helicopter there, and my producers say that you're about to go up in that helicopter in just a little bit. Is that accurate?
It is. We're going to be with the Texas Department of Public Safety's Aircraft Division today to try to show what's happening down here in Del Rio. But also, we can't forget that we still have national security issues. And what this air asset behind me provides, and the flight crew here and the technology that they have in these helicopters is really a force multiplier. And that's why the Department of Public Safety has sent multiple aircraft, including fixed wing down here, to help try to secure a lot of this border around Del Rio, where you got to remember, the cartel is still sending fentanyl into this country, along with methamphetamine and every other thing.
Jason, we know you sent us some exclusive video from downtown Roma, Texas. From my understanding, about a 5-hour drive from Del Rio. We're starting to show some of that video right now. Can you tell us what's going on there in Roma?
Sure. About a week ago, we've learned that now hundreds of migrants are now surging into the city of Roma itself. And every day, what you're seeing right now is literally downtown City Hall. And that little square is the main portion of that small community. And every night at around 10:30, Cartel de Golfo begins sending these people. The water right now, guys, is really low, so they don't have to raft them across. Most of them can walk unless they have really small children. And that's why the cartel has moved them over there. So now literally in the middle of town, you've got people not only coming there, but you've also got what we call runners, single males, single females, that if apprehended, they'll be returned under Title 42. So we're being told as well that people are just running through that city. So that's why I always say, while I'm here in Del Rio and we've got a crisis within a crisis at our southwest border, which is what the guys down here are really calling this thing. Yeah. We can't forget that we've still got a major national security issue. And as CBP is adjusting from national security to migrant care, this is why it is so important that the Texas Department of Public Safety and the state has stepped up. And you guys hear me talk about it all the time. As the cartel has this going on here in Del Rio, everywhere else where it's open, they surge. And that's why this aircraft is here to shut down those lanes.
In Roma, are these aren't Haitian immigrants, are they?
They are not in those videos, but I will tell you, they've been seeing around 200 Haitians a day in the Rio Grande Valley area, which, like you said, is about a 5-hour drive from where I am here in Del Rio. But I'm also learning they're seeing Haitians in Big Bend as well. So what that really means is, and it's going to be interesting in the next 120 hours to see, as policies are being changed by DHS and they're trying to remove a lot of these Haitians here in Del Rio, you have to remember there's a whole lot of them still in Mexico. So that dysphoria is now starting to occur on the southern side, on the Mike side, as we call it. And now the question is, where are they going to go? And I can tell you that's what this asset behind me provides.
Yeah, I want to talk about that asset, Jason, because there are literally like 2 networks on television that are covering what's happening there. The Biden administration implemented a blackout that was eventually lifted over the situation in Del Rio, Texas. But if you didn't go up in that helicopter and take video and then send it to us, the American people would have no idea what's going on. And my take is the Biden administration wants it that way.
Look, you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, we saw how they came in and put the FAA restrictions to limit drone activity above the port of entry. We all know that's what that was about, and then they were forced to remove it. So this asset is, I just wish I could explain how important these aircraft are, because what happens, the cartel will tell you, they can't function when these aircraft are in the air. They actually call this one the Mosquito, because if you notice the black and white, from the ground looking up at it, it will truly shut down a zone. So they're extremely important. That's why Operation Lone Star, which is a $1.8 billion funded, state-funded operation, is down here trying to fill the gap. And one of the things that's really frustrating is Secretary Mayorkas yesterday said nothing about the Texas Department of Public Safety, said nothing about how the state of Texas and the community of Del Rio is being impacted. And, it's his policies. His temporary protective status on Haitians, where he extended that through December, is what was the real force driver behind all of this that we're seeing here, yet none of that was acknowledged.
Right.
Refusing once again to call it a crisis, and the videos that we've seen of those more than 10,000 migrants underneath that Del Rio bridge. Jason, obviously we can make out certain things from photos. We can see that it looks like a humanitarian crisis, the conditions that they're living in, things you've been pointing out all week, Rob. But what is it going on the ground there? Border Patrol so unbelievably overwhelmed that now the topic of conversation, it seems this morning, is that photo that says there may be whips being used when Border Patrol saying
definitely
that's
not whips, by the way. Yeah,
the horse.
ridiculous. I saw that this morning as well.
How is it that the narrative got so switched to just that one image when we've seen so many other images coming in from Del Rio?
Yeah, absolutely insanity. I'm with you guys. I watched that yesterday and also watched the DHS secretary really focus on that versus nothing about the community here and what all of these people are going through. Remember, DPS has had to surge with over 500 troopers. I don't want to give the exact number for operational security, less than 1,500. Never mind what Border Patrol and other agencies have had to bring down here. Now, the horse units you're talking about, mounted patrol that came down here, those guys are doing great work. You could see they were trying to hold the line and stop those folks.
Right.
Nobody was beaten, and the video was very clear. But it's just like you say, you can see how that narrative gets turned, trying to create the perception
and then
that
people
those,
run
those
with that.
men and women.
Jason, I just wanted to get, we literally have about 15 seconds, but I wanted to get your take on Kamala Harris. She's the border czar. She says she's looking at root causes. The only thing that I can see that she's rooting for is a college football game. She was part of the ceremonial coin toss on Saturday at a college football game. What do you make of that? The fact that our vice president, who's supposed to be managing this crisis, is watching football games instead of down there in places like Roma and Del Rio, Texas, where this crisis has gotten completely out of control.
Yeah, we've got to be really honest here about what's happening. I mean, the root causes, we've never heard these terms before this administration, and they are the root cause. Everyone, you guys have heard me talk about this week after week, that what drives people to this country is perception. And the temporary protective status that the DHS secretary approved to extend for these Haitians and what the vice president has been communicating all over the world, that's what causes these surges. And we know that. You can see it in the data, guys. And yet here we are with a crisis within a crisis, and we have heard nothing from the vice president on this. And you're absolutely right. Leadership matters, and we're seeing it on the ground right now when you don't have it.
Thanks, Jason.
All the time we have for this morning. Thank you so much for that insight and the very latest. Have a safe flight up there.
Thanks a lot. Good to talk to you.